everything the light touches is our division. From Lambeau to Minnesota to Chicago, we, the Lion King. Oh, I just can't wait to be king of the NFC North. Yeah, Disney Plus is going to do the Lion King musical of the Detroit Lions. It's going to be terrible, but fun. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic, and we're talking about the Detroit Lions having a great season, but we all knew they were going to. Are we disappointed now? It's been a while to talk about Detroit in a public setting. I mean, believe it or not, I had them at an 11-win season. I thought they were going to go 11 wins, still win the division, but they said no. We're going to be 11 and then one more. We're going to go 12. We're going to, flex ourselves on the NFC in order to showcase that this is not a one-time thing. Get used to this. Detroit is now going to be a team where you're going to have to refer to them as potential Super Bowl contenders. That they're going to potentially be up there every year as we have to address Detroit now. We have to address Detroit. And the last time I heard about people talking about a sports team in Detroit were the Tigers, the Red Wings, and the Pistons. But never about the Lions. Weird sports is a fascinating thing. And Campbell has done a phenomenal job that he's one of the few coaches that I'd be like, I will be water boy for you for free because I respect the man too much. The Lions just, I'm not going to criticize the the TJ Hawkinson trade into a division foe. Jared Goff from first overall pick to the Rams, won Super Bowl, then getting taken out. Stafford gone. Calvin Johnson getting injured, never really finishing a full career like his season that we thought he was going to have. But he was still there. Barry Sanders retirement. There's a lot of stuff of Detroit legacy and history that just felt like, man, we have all these great once in a lifetime talents in our organization, leaving legacy marks, and we have nothing really to show for them to be like, thank you. That we just can't say they're Hall of Famers because we couldn't get them closer to an actual ring their whole time here. We thought we did, and who would have thought that Jared Goff would resurrect a career that people were thinking is on his way out? He was a placeholder for most people talking about. He was just there just to carry the books until the Lions lose enough games to get a first-round pick and get the quarterback of their choice. But Jared Goff says no. And I am so happy that he succeeded, even though last year when they were good and missed the playoffs slightly, there were still talks about Jared Goff not coming back. And I was like, no. Jared Goff needs to come back. Jared Goff needs to come back. Because if you build everything else around him, Jared Goff is going to be your glue. And Jared Goff did so much better this year that I can't help but feel like he's loved, he's appreciated, he has young talent, and they're getting better. So what they're going to do in the draft is going to be very interesting, but the Lions, just be aware, they're going to be the team to talk about. And I think to talk about success, we need to talk about their best game. Their best game, in my humble opinion, is Week 13 at New Orleans. Now, there are lots of games that I can see people saying, well, what about that game? What about the game? The reason why I picked the Saints game at this point is the Saints were a feisty bunch. They were a team that were good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And there were talks that maybe the Saints had finally got their stuff together, and the Saints were going to upend the Red Hot Lions. That this was going to be the game. It was a trap game. The Lions were going to go into New Orleans, a hostile environment, and the Saints were going to steal a win from the Lions, and affecting the NFC playoff structure. And to me, there are games early, like the Green Bay game, but that was week 4. The Carolina, no. Tampa, no. Las Vegas, no. Chargers, no. Now, so it had to be New Orleans towards the end of the season that had the most impact, because New Orleans, even though the record did not show it, they had the most full potential team out there, and they almost got in the playoff themselves if Tampa would have choked harder. So this to me is the Lion game where it's in a hostile environment, a rowdy crowd, a hungry Saints team that's trying to prove themselves, and you have to prove that you can't just take a week off against a foe they may be considered inferior to you. I mean, if you just look at the stats really didn't really scream. This felt very much, even though the scoreboard said 33-20, this game felt very much like just a chess match. One punch here, one jab there. No one doing big uppercuts. No one doing big power moves. Everyone's just testing out to see where it goes. I mean, yes, it was 21-0 Detroit. I mean, they came out of the first quarter and was blowing them out. But then it just stopped. And for a moment, it felt like, guys, New Orleans is coming back. Guys, it's 24-21, the third. Guys, and then the 27-21. Guys. And then even with a 33-28 in the fourth, it was still that feeling like, guys, because the Saints have shown moments like that where they're down big against the Rams. They were down big and they come back and the scoreboard doesn't look as close, even though it was 21-0. But after that, it just became, guys, come on, guys, let's be serious. Come on. So it was scary, but the Lions, recover at the right moment to put the game away, even though the Saints just never went away. And that's the scary thing. I mean, it was 21-9 in the second half in Saints' favored. That's scary because they're probably a better team than the Saints that if you were to do that to, will probably lead into a loss. So very much the best game, even though the scoreboard didn't really make it feel like it and the game didn't really seem that way. But to me, that was the best game for the Lions. It's hostile environment, made it play, did their job. The worst game, which surprisingly is a lot easier to depict, is going to be the Week 14 at Chicago. 1 is a division foe. 2, it's the Bears. And the Bears we thought were inferior. But after you guys had a hard-fought, hold the lead, hold the line against New Orleans, you go to Chicago and I don't know what happened. I guess this was the trap game. This was the game that everyone felt trapped about. That this was the game, not the Saints game, but this was division foe. Sometimes division foes offer more than what the record shows. That's why I believe that a team could be winless, but they can probably have a winning record against division foes, or at least a 3-3 record against division foes. Because division foes just offer a little bit something more, because we see you twice, and we play every year. There's no we must prepare for the Chiefs, even though we are the Cowboys. We see them once every 4 years maybe, but we see them twice a year. And some teams, especially the rookies, you're gonna see them 8 times before your potential 5th-year option comes up. So you probably get a taste of I'm familiar with their corners. I'm familiar with their receivers. I'm familiar with their linebackers. I'm familiar with that son of a bitch D-tackle that always hits me. I'm familiar with them. But this one, I don't know what happened. Field had a great game. Kinda. I mean, he was 19 of 33 for 223 and a touchdown. But apparently he was the reason. He rushed the ball and he passed the ball effectively. Hell, he threw the ball to himself. He would have been great. I mean, DJ Moore only had 68 yards receiving. But for whatever reason, the Lions, 161, 2 interceptions for Jared Goff. Probably the thought that Jared Goff was going to be when he got traded from the Rams to the Lions, that there would be more of these kind of games. But Jared Goff just fell and just got trapped. This was a trap game, and the Bears took advantage of it. Division foe on the road, had a hard-fought win against the Saints before. Maybe a little bit, a little winded, maybe a little tired, and the Bears just say, they're weak, attack! And they did. So your worst game, I mean, the time also, it took place week 14, so that playoff positioning was always going to be, and this was probably a game that you probably really, 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 really didn't want to lose. And you did, and cost you positioning, because there were even thoughts that the Lions could potentially be looking at, the number one seed. But this loss to a Bears team was like, ouch, wrong time to lose to a Bears team. Usually it's the other way around in this part of the season. So that's why I'm giving it the worst game. The timing was wrong. The Lions MVP is going to the man I've been praising him all video long, and that's going to go to Jared Goff. Now, giving an MVP to a quarterback is almost as a cop-out way of saying, I mean, if you look closely, I see St. Brown potentially at 1,500 yards. He went off. He's becoming an iconic face of the NFL, not just the Lions. But Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, nearly 4,600 yards, 67.3% completion rate. That is just amazing to consider. This is a guy that was a number one overall pick by the Rams, helped them to a Super Bowl, and then got replaced almost as quickly as the option became available without even hesitation. And even when he got traded to the Lions, they were all viewing as he's there for 2 years until the Lions can get an actual quarterback. He had no thought. He probably had the biggest felt of rejection of any player in any sport, because he was not only being viewed as lesser than, but they sent him to the Lions team at the time. They thought the Lions where players go to die. Now I think it's the Raiders. I think the Raiders are now the team the players go to die. I think that's the team. Antonio Pierce is going to kick my ass. But the Lions were the team, and maybe Cleveland even, where players go to try to salvage their career, and before their career eventually calls it. Because the team around them is just a bunch of young first-round pick players that never had done time to develop, and players that are trying to have one last hoorah, but realize that they're 29, 28, 33, whatever, and they just can't do it. So, but Jared Goff didn't take that, and he motivated, and he is such a nice guy. I mean, seeing all the players praise him, seeing the fans cheer for him, and he's just a silent, strong guy, just going there doing his job. And we'll see how much further he can take this Lions team. I feel like he's probably one of the best Lions in probably their whole history, at least when it comes to fan notification. Now we'll see what happens around. Now we know Matthew Stafford is the statistical best Lion quarterback, but Jared Goff, if Jared Goff just takes him to a Super Bowl, doesn't have to win it, Jared Goff will surpass Matthew Stafford as the best Lion quarterback of all time. Even if he doesn't have the stats to back it up. Even if he wasn't technically the Lions' choice. Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl with the Lions. He might even be more famous than Barry Sanders. I'm just saying, if Jared Goff can take the Lions to a Super Bowl and they win it, tell me you don't think that Jared Goff might be considered more famous than Barry Sanders. Now, I probably got a lot of Lion fans saying jump off a cliff, and I understand, but I'm just saying, if Jared Goff helped the Lions win the Super Bowl, you have to at least acknowledge Jared Goff as your Mount Rushmore of Lions. Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, Jared Goff. I can't think of a fourth on top of my head right now, sorry, but you tell me who will be your Mount Rushmore if Jared Goff were to win a Super Bowl for the Lions. Just saying. So, your grade for the Lions, it's an A. That obviously is an A. They were so close to beating the 49ers. They probably should have been the 49ers. I'm glad they didn't, because I had the Niners to go. But, like I said, he was so close to being on that makeshift Mount Rushmore we were talking about just seconds ago, that they have to get an A. Now, I always feel like it's harder to go back to a conference championship than it is to go back as a Super Bowl if you're the loser. I feel like it's easier for the 49ers to get to the Super Bowl than it'll be for the Lions to get to the conference championship. Because I believe Philadelphia's going to be better. I feel like Atlanta looks already better. New Orleans, Tampa, the Rams, Cowboys, Eagles. There's a lot more teams that I feel like will be better, but you're in a division with Jordan Love that I feel like that might be your biggest threat. Then again, when the Bears draft Caleb Williams, we'll see what they do then. But that's what I think. You guys get an A. You deserve it, and I don't think anyone else will disagree. So that is the Bears. I mean, the Bears. I ruined the whole video. That's the Lions, Detroit. Oh boy. Hopefully I didn't mess up too many times in that video. So we're going to end with Green Bay. The Green Bay Packers. Why? Well, because I feel a little love for Jordan. I feel a little love. And because I flipped a coin behind the camera and I found out that the Packers are the last team to go with. So we'll go with Green Bay last to end the NFC North. As we will continue down the list, we finish the recaps of the 2023 NFL season. So until then, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you very much for watching.